Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tim's Vinyl Confessions. And we have finally come to the end of the Sammy Hagar deep dive series, going through every single one of the Red Rockers solo albums. And my returning co-host, my returning bo-host, is Darin from the Bogus Otis Show, which is the Sammy Hagar podcast you need to be listening to. It's on all your favorite podcast platforms. 9 Degrees of Sammy Hagar. Darin and Brent could not be with us, and they are fellow Canadians and fellow huge Sammy Hagar fans. And Darin is here with me once again, and we're here to talk about what is, so far, the most recent new album that Sammy has put out. 2022's Crazy Times. Actually, technically the second album from Sammy Hagar and the Circle. This came out on Universal, so big label, which is encouraging. And I was just telling Darin before we started recording, I actually did a review episode of this with Martin Popoff when it came out. And Darin said the same thing. I think we both like this album better now than we did when it first came out.
Much more now. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it was, I think what kind of threw me is, childhood end. When I read that, I'm like, no, that I don't want to hear that. Not from my guy. No. But, it's a deeper album, or a reflective album, but there's some rocking on here. I really love this album.
And I always like the rocking tunes on here, but now I think I like all the songs on here.
Me too.
Yeah, it's kind of bookended, kind of, depending on what version you get. But yeah, intro, the beginning of the end. And it's basically, it's not where you're going, it's not where you've been. It's just an acoustic intro. You know, Sammy's at this point, what, 75?
Yep.
74, when it was recorded. You can hear that, you can hear the years, but he's still got the range. He still sounds like the Sammy we all know and love. It's pretty amazing.
But before I peeled the plastic and I saw the title of that song, I'm like, no, not the end. This can't be the beginning of the end. But
well, it's like we talked about on when we did Sammy Hagar and Friends. It's the first song of the album was winding down. You're like, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that. I know that that's going to happen at some point, but I don't want to. No, it's too early.
Everybody's like, not yet. Just one
more. Hey, on that note, you're right. After it's 3 years now, right? Come on, Sam, we need another one.
Yeah. Let's go. Listen, I would like nothing better than have to go back in and redo it and add a chapter to my Sammy Hagar book. That's good enough. It's good enough.
Well, that's what Brent and I always say. Like, to get an album this good at this stage in his career, that rocks as hard as it does. We're that's why we have a show to the man, right?
When one of your longtime favorites puts out a new album, I think there's always a mix of anticipation and maybe a little nervousness, because you're like, you want to like it so much. You're like, what if it sucks? But then when it's really good, you're like, what was I worried about?
Yeah. And this is it, man. I think this is great. For this stage in his career, it's, I guess at this point, when you're in your 70s in a rock band, every album that comes out, you consider a bonus. We talk about, right?
And you can be a lot, Sammy's outlasted a lot of his peers. We lost John Sykes this year, like that.
Oh.
It's just, you don't know, man. Like, not to get off topic first, but when John Sykes passed away, I realized that short-lived Whitesnake lineup in 1984, when it was a 6-piece, 4 of those guys are gone.
Oh my God!
Cozy Powell, John Lord, John Sykes, Mel Galley. So it's just Coverdale and not Glenn Hughes, Neil Murray from that lineup.
Damn, man!
There are bands like Motorhead that are gone completely. Emerson, Lake and Powell, they're gone. It's weird. Yeah. It's weird to think that there are bands with no living members.
Crazy, man. You're right. I never really thought about that. But yeah, Sykes passing, he was one of those guys. Because you heard rumblings over the years, he's always going to come back. He's going to. And I was waiting for that.
I was a huge fan of the
one more thing, right?
album, and
I'm sad about that.
So when one of your favorites from that's getting up there puts out a new album this good, you're like, this is reason to celebrate. And I think that I have to. He was talking about concert appearances, but I have to think to something that Dee Snider said once. He said, when you go see, one of your old favorites, and they're lackadaisical and you're going through the motions, you feel old. But when you go see one of your old favorites and they're kicking ass and they're vital, you feel young. And that's
That's
what
right.
that's
Who
that's
said
what I
that? D.
get.
Snyder?
Yeah,
God bless him. Yeah, that's
yeah,
great. It's totally
that,
right.
yeah. But different artwork on this album, and you really should get the vinyl. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
I think
There's
all the
Todd.
band
That's
members
Todd
are here
Galapa at
somewhere.
work again. Yeah, it's great. We love it.
Yeah,
Lot
recorded
of hidden Easter eggs on there.
recorded at the Classic RCA studio. Actually, the front kind of bleeds onto the back. There's the band, and yeah, let's get into this album. This was who produced this? Dave Cobb. So there's that Rival Sons we were talking about on Sammy Hagar and Friends. I would love to hear some sort of collaboration there, but
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think it's a great sounding album.
Yep. The
So
guitars
once,
sound pretty tight. There's some
yeah,
jammy. There's some. It's not. There's some rougher, almost demo-y sounding stuff. And then some poly. I love it. It sounds. It's rocking. It's a heavy one.
yeah. And after beginning and the end, we get Slow Drain. This is a slow, heavy one. It's got a nasty riff. I love it.
Yep. Brent and I love that one too. That's one of our favorites. Got a real sleazy, dirty, heavy riff. Love that one.
Yeah.
His vocals still sound awesome, right?
He's like, deep in the like he's still got the
Yeah.
rasp and it's just
Yeah.
and it's just it's just really good. Feed Your Head. I really like that one.
That's a grower to me. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I don't know about this one. And that one now I've come back to big time. I really like that one a lot.
Yeah. It's another rocker. Yeah, I really like that. Really, really like that one. The next one's interesting. Sammy's done a lot of covers, and he tends to pick good ones. But they're doing "Pump It Up" by Elvis Costello, and I don't know where the idea came from, but I've always liked it when I hear heavy versions of that song because I always thought that there was a cool hard rock song in there somewhere.
Yep.
So it's a little different than the original, but it's recognizable. I don't know. What do you think of this cover?
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It's not my favorite of the album, to be honest. But I love it. It sounds it's cool. I don't
Yeah.
mind it. I like what comes after it.
Yeah. And this was a song that I remember thinking at this point in time, I want to hear Sammy rock. Rock all the way through. I don't want to hear any acoustic stuff. And then Be Still comes on. Now I love it.
Yeah, me too. This is one of Brent's favorites.
Yeah,
This is one
this
of his favorite kind of
great.
ballady type songs. He loves this one a lot, right? He loves the lyrics. He loves the phrasing. So yeah, this is one of Brent's favorites.
Yeah. And then you get one of my favorites. You Get What You Pay For. I think Sammy sings that line, that title line with such attitude.
Yeah,
Love
this is
this one.
another grower for me. This is one I kind of maybe just didn't get the vibe when I first gave it a spin, but this one I come back to a lot. I really like the song. This could be
Yeah.
one of my favorites on the album. Right.
Then we get the title song, which is a little different. It's got a little early 70s kind of got a little bit
Yeah.
of I don't know,
Chunk. I call that the chunk.
little chunk funk,
Yeah.
little
I like
shaft.
it.
but
Yeah. I like it.
yeah, I love Jason's drums on it, like dun 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 dun. Like
Yeah. It just sounds, this album sounds big, and Jason brings a lot of that big sound the recording and the production sound is really good on this one too.
yeah, no, it's very well recorded, but it sounds very live too.
So is that Dave Cobb bringing that
Yeah.
kind of vibe to it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
because
was
he
a
doesn't
good
overdo
choice.
even the all the most recent Europe albums he's produced, and they're pretty raw sounding.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I'm
Oh
checking
yeah,
those out then. Wow.
yeah.
Okay. I'll be
Those
checking
and
that
those
out.
they've been on a really good streak. Like once they reunited in the early 2000s. But yeah, Dave
So
Cobb's produced the
if there's
last
another
two.
one coming, do you want to see Dave Cobb at the wheels again for that one?
Yes, absolutely.
I would love that too.
Perfectly happy with that. Um, and then we get a song that we got a little preview of on the Lockdown album, the Funky Feng Shui. Maybe like a minute of it because of the lockdown, everything's pretty, I don't think it's funky, but I get a kick out of this song.
Yeah. I like the one. This is the second version of it, right? This one's different than the
Yeah,
lockdown, right?
there's a shorter version of it on
Yeah.
the
I like
lockdown.
the vibe on that. I don't know what it is. I think I like is it faster on that one? I like that one better.
Maybe, yeah. I
I
wish
like that
all of
one
those
better.
songs were complete on that
Oh,
lockdown,
don't get
but,
me started.
but
Can I
yeah.
come back? Can I come back? You already did that one, right? You did it, right?
um, and then we have Father Time, which is another kind of an acoustic, reflective kind of song.
Yeah. So we love this one. So Brent loved it right off the bat, and this is one of his favorites. He says one of the best lyrics ever from Sammy in his opinion.
It does
It,
have
it,
some. It's got something to say.
it took a while for me to warm to it, but I love it now. I do love it. But
Yeah. Um, Now, there is something I find very interesting. Is it Father Time, where he says, "When was the last time you did something for the first time?"
he does.
And I'm like, where have I heard that before?
We know where. We know
Yeah.
where.
Was it? Oh shoot, The Trouble with Never from A Different Kind of
Yeah.
Truth. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's a interesting. That's a pretty specific line.
Yeah. So you think it was a
I
purpose
don't
or
know. I mean, he might have just had the thought. I mean, it's all floating around there, but it's just interesting as a Van Halen fan. It's like, wait, that's not the first time I've heard that said.
so is that did Roth did he was it his did he write those words or did he grab them from
I would
somewhere else?
say so. Yeah, I would say he wrote
Okay.
all the
Yeah,
lyrics.
when I heard it, I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
I think it's by accident, but you think somebody in Sammy's camp would be like, dude, you might not want to say that. But
Well, it. I think that the closer faux pas, and I'm really surprised it got that far off the drawing board, is the song "Protection" from 1013. The opening line, "Lay down your arms," the way he sings it sounds just like "Other Arms" by Robert Plant, just like it. The way he sings, "Lay down your arms," it's the same
yeah,
lyric. It's like, how did you not? How did that get past?
yeah, yeah,
Anyway, that's so. And then that leads us to Childhood's End, which is sort of the bookend of Beginning of the End. Same
yep.
same type of thing. Yeah, I like it better now than I did. I remember thinking there's an awful lot of this acoustic stuff where there could be more rockers on a relatively short album, but it's grown on me. I really do like it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And then
Me too.
and then if you get the bonus version, you get the very interestingly titled 2120.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah,
That's my favorite one.
yeah, I like it, but do you notice? Like to me, it doesn't sound like it was recorded at the same time as the rest of the songs.
Well, because apparently that was a demo. That was the demo that they tried to redo it, and they just said no. There's just something magical about that version. Just throw it on.
Yeah, it's good. I mean,
I like it, but you're right.
I
It
don't
doesn't
mind the way it's
sound.
recorded, but it's very different sound.
You're right. You're right. But I like that song. I like the lyric. I like the vocal. I like the chorus. That one's really. I think that's my favorite on the album. Right.
Yeah, and
But at
then
the beginning, when I first got it, I skipped over it. I'm like, nope, nope. But now that's my favorite one.
there's
That
an
and Get What You
acoustic.
Pay For, I think, is my other second favorite.
So there's an acoustic version of Childhood's End. That's the other bonus track. But yeah, so there it is. I mean, yeah, like I said, uh, I want to be able to say, not the last thing, not the last bit of new music we'll hear from Sammy, and I don't think it will be.
Well, I was just going to ask you that, man. I was going to say if, and we know he's working on something, and hopefully I guess it's going to be something from the Best of All Worlds band, which is what he told us in Toronto. He promised
Yeah.
us. But if this was the last thing he did, would you feel it's the fitting final album from our
Um,
man?
I'm satisfied with it because um, then those acoustic songs and the lyrics to them really make a lot of sense. And it's not a bad album, you know, to close on a good album at that stage. Hey,
I feel
respect,
exactly the same. I
respect.
think it's
Would
got a
I
little bit
like
of
to hear?
everything.
Yeah, would I
All
like
the
to hear
things we
it?
like about Sammy's there. It's heavy. It's a
Yeah,
little light. And you're right. There's some really reflective lyrics.
yeah.
Uh,
I think all of us would like, just one more. But at a
but we'll be
certain
saying
point,
that
it's got to
forever,
stop.
right? Just one more.
It's got to stop at some point. So, yeah, there it is. Wow, all the way through the Sammy Hagar solo catalog. So, like I did in Red on Black, Listener's Guide to Sammy Hagar, every single one of the solo
Yeah,
albums I've
great
done.
book.
You
Great
can
book,
hook
man.
up.
Congrats to
Oh,
you for doing that.
thank you so much. Yes, I had the pleasure of being on the Bogus Soda Show to talk about it. And yeah, you can go back and look through, what me and my various co-hosts here have said about all of these albums, but especially these latter day ones. If you haven't checked them out, if you haven't bought a new Sammy album since, you know, the 80s, there's some good stuff out there. And hopefully between the book and the deep dives, you get a taste for, what kind of albums these are. And there's, like I said many times, there's quite a lot of variety.
Well,
It's
look,
not just,
Brent and I will have to have you on when we kind of get into some of these specific albums, especially when they hit up anniversaries and stuff. But let me ask you, I mean, I've been keeping up with your channel. I love the channel.
thank you.
Love the book. And the only album I think I haven't seen you review yet is Affirmation. And who did you review that with?
Affirmation.
Sorry, this the album that Affirmations on. I had it right here. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, that was the last one. That was the
Yeah,
last one.
but who did you review that with?
I believe Ches and I did that one.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
liked it? What's your thoughts on the album?
I like it, but I like this one more.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
find there's like
What's
they're
it actually
companion
called? Space
pieces. I feel
Between.
that's right, space
Yeah,
between. I find they're companion pieces. These two albums, but I
they're
like this
similar,
one
but
better. Right?
there's something rawness and like if there were more songs on Space Between, say like Free Man, which I really like,
Me too, man.
it
I
would be
love that
more
album.
like
I
this
love
one.
that
But
song. Yeah,
I mean, those two albums, they're perfectly good latter day rock albums, and really you don't even need the qualifier of latter day albums. They're just good rock albums, and
yeah,
it's a shame that they, the new artist, an old artist with new music, you get that it just doesn't get the traction it should. But that's
yeah.
one of the reasons I want to pay just as much attention to the new stuff as I do to the stuff that sold millions of copies.
100%. I mean, I want to thank Sammy because Space Between and in some ways this one got me through pandemic, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Those are
there were great new albums coming out, and it definitely helped. And the odd thing is that the people that I know, the people that I've met, like yourself, that would none of that would have happened if I hadn't, if they're, we got to do this on Zoom. What's Zoom? You know what I mean? Like, this is a really weird
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So yes, folks, if you're a Sammy Hagar fan, Van Halen fan, it's all discussed. What is understood definitely should be discussed and is discussed on the Bogus Soda Show. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts. And Darin, thanks once again for being on this deep dive.
Thanks for having, I'm going to say thanks for having us because I
Yes,
brought
Brent was here.
Brent's
Yep.
thoughts. He was here in spirit. So thanks for having us, Tim. We love your book, love your channel. And thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. All right, folks. What's next? Oh, stay tuned. Always something new happening. But hope you've enjoyed the Sammy Hagar deep dive on Tim's Vinyl Confessions. We'll see you later.